Hello guys, NautoAce here. And this will be, believe it or not, my thoughts on the whole controversy for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So of course, before that, if you follow my main channel, I gave my early impression of the game. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because even so there's a lot of new feature, a lot of improvement from the previous game, the open world aspect. Well, to some extent, the performance of the game, frame rate, and trying to enjoy the game in general is a little bit challenging. Like for me, I haven't encountered any Uber exorcist glitch, but there were some frame rate. It's not really that bad because I had played games that had bad frame rate. One of them I remember during the PS2 era is Dynasty Warrior 4. When there was a lot of soldiers in the screen, the game slows down. And of course, I grew up playing game on the NES where when there's a lot of characters in the game, it has that slowdown. And since this is not a fast-paced game, it's mostly turn-based like a JRPG, so I kind of tolerate it. So like I said, that I'm not going to return the game because we're going to see if Game Freak's Creature, Pokemon Company are considering fixing the game, but that'll be a different story there. Anyway, so that's why it's a 6 out of 10. There are some good stuff there. It's an enjoyable game if you're a Pokemon fan. But yeah, the performance, the frame rate, and just the quality of the game, I'm not going to lie. It's unacceptable for this type of game to be released on this shape. And a lot of people kind of blame the developer. Some blame the company. Some even blame, the hardware. My opinion about it, for me, I have to agree that to some extent, the blame should be on the Pokemon Company because they're the one that's in charge of the franchise. And they made a decision, this game, Scarlet and Violet, must be released in this certain date, November 2022. And like I said, credit to Spawnwave. He kind of felt that it's kind of makes sense because of merchandise relationship. So you heard me saying this word for a while. And what it means is that a lot of people already talked about it is that unfortunately, I guess in the case with Pokemon Company's business, they also are obligated to have some sort of pattern in order to coincide with other merchandise because maybe there's going to be an anime coming. There's stuffed dolls. There's that Build-A-Bear. Pokemon cards, toys, any merchandise. That's what's called the merchandise relationship because theirs is very, very, let's just say, high that they had to release this game. They felt like, it's necessary to release this, whether it's done or not, because there's also other stuff that's going to be selling that same month. I mean, it is what it is. I think my personal opinion kind of like BS, but, business 101. So that's why a lot of people even said that they have a feeling that this particular game, no matter what, whether it's fixed or not, whether it's complete or not, they can't just say, let's delay it because we need more time, which, again, a delay of game is good. A bad game will ever be bad. Is Pokemon Scarlet Violet bad? Not really. Is it the same caliber as Cyberpunk 2027? Not really. But again, the principle behind it is you don't do something like this. This is unacceptable. You can't have something like this. And, it's going to sell, which unfortunately, to some extent, it is going to sell because apparently they already said that the game with the first 3 days already sold a lot. So, again, it is what it is. Is Game Freak going to willing to fix the game in the long run? Well, if they have integrity, maybe. But if they're just focused, we just got to make money, then probably not. Update. So it seems Nintendo is well aware of the problem and that on December the 1st, they are going to release version 1.1.0. And what it said is first, something to do with Season 1 of Rank Battle starting. Whatever, I don't play that online on Pokemon. Another one is fixing the music issue when you are battling the Elite Four and the top champion. Again, I'm not even there yet. But the interesting part here is they said other select bug fixes have been made. So what's that? Who knows? But the key thing is hopefully it's performance, but I doubt it is too soon. But they did say something about this, about the situation with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that is we are aware that players may encounter issues that affect the game's performance. Of course, right there. Our goal is always to give players a positive experience with our games. And we apologize for the inconvenience. So at least they're saying, we done goof or Pokemon Company really done goof because, because of their relationship, merchandise, relationship situation. We take the feedback from players seriously and are working on improvements to the games. So technically what it is, it's sort of a start, but I don't think it's a performance patch. That's probably going to be a long time. So like I said, if they announce DLC before fixing the game, it's going to be a problem. I don't care if you're a Nintendo fan or not, or a Pokemon fan or not. Common sense, like, that's inexcusable there. So so they're well aware. They are starting to have a new patch coming in December the 1st. I doubt it's going to be the performance, but at least it's a start. So it's going to be a long way. I hope they did learn their lesson, because I'm sorry, Scarlet and Violet may be good and awesome. I do enjoy them. It's pathetic of what they did. It's really unfortunate. And they're not the only company that does this. Another company I remember a long time ago that did this was Warner Brothers Montreal with Arkham Origin. So backstory for that game a bit is the reason the game was created because Rocksteady was doing Arkham Knight and they needed more time. And they said, you know what? People need some sort of Arkham game. So to keep them busy, so Warner Brothers Montreal did one, and the game was buggy. I remember it kept freezing, it keeps crashing on me on the PS3. And there was even a point that they even said, you know what? Unfortunately, we're not going to update the game. We're not going to patch the game anymore. We're just going to have DLC and the end. And they said the reason was due to time and resource. And they just said, hey, well, you know what? The game sold well, so we're not going to bother fixing the game. Again, it is assy. I hope they did learn their lesson from Gotham Knights, which it came out last month. It's a good game for what it is. I mean, it is what it is, but different story there. But yeah, like Warner Brothers Montreal had the mentality, oh, we're not going to fix the game anymore because what for? So will Game Freaks do the same thing? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see there. So was this right for Pokemon Company to do this? In my personal opinion, no. And it's really a shame that they did this. But again, like I said before, merchandise relationship reason. It's all about the money, whether you like it or not there. So, can they rectify this? Yeah, if they add more patch in the long run. When? Who knows? And then, of course, surprisingly also that some people, and I guess good move to some extent in my opinion, is that, they're refunding the game. And you should. You really should not accept something like this. I don't care if it's from Nintendo, Pokemon Company. They usually release a game with higher standard, and now you have something like this, like, wow. And, some people were mad about, like, oh, you're doing refund because, it might change the fate of the direction for Pokemon game in the future. And it might, it's going to probably affect me and my enjoyment, which, weird, whatever. My question really is, what's it to you if someone refund the game? Does it affect you? Well, maybe it does. Who knows? Do I care? Not really. So, thoughts about this whole situation? It's unfortunate because I bought the double back. Because like I said, I am a Pokemon fan. I always like buying the double back because I'm sick in the head. Of course, sort of a collection reason also. And I do play both games, believe it or not, there. And in the past, I would always do like my self-trading. And for this one, really, it's more just you have to use Pokemon Home. But that's just me. But again, this type of thing, it's unacceptable in my opinion. Even so, it's from Nintendo, Pokemon Company. And that if they have integrity, they should really fix the game. Rather thinking about DLC in the future. Just saying there. Because if, let's just say, Pokemon Company decide to announce DLC before fixing the game, there will be problems. And I'm not going to lie. I'm even going to call them out and say, wow, what professional Pokemon Company is. DLC first before fixing the game? Oh my gosh. I mean, at least Cyberpunk 2027, CD Projekt Red, they were fixing the game before adding new content. So if Pokemon Company decided to do DLC before fixing the game, there will be problems. I guarantee you, there will be problems. Like I said, it is unfortunate this happened. It's gross in my opinion. But is the game really that bad, like Cyber 2027 bad? No, to some extent, but I have heard people getting their game crashed. So if that keeps happening, then that sucks. I even heard people even getting stuck because of like the physics problem. Again, all time big suck there. So like for me personally, I haven't encountered anything that weird. And also, like I said, I'm just playing like really legitly. Plus, I don't play multiplayer online. That's another one from what I heard is that the multiplayer is also the one that's also acting up when you have too many player characters in one game. It could be also that's a problem. I mean, who knows? So, yeah, it is sucks and unfortunate. It is unacceptable. So, if you're a Pokemon fan, then yes. And just be mindfulness. Just because you're a Pokemon fan, you have probably a lot of respect for Game Freak with Omori because if you didn't know in Sword and Shield, because of the controversy with the national deck, there were some Pokemon fans, probably super fans, maybe loyalists to some extent. They were trying to ratio it by doing hashtag thank you Omori because like, oh man, they're not that big. They're a small company. They don't know how to make games on console. Give him a break because there's other features in the game. Again, I'm going to give you that. You're right. There are some features in the game that no other game doesn't do. Able to bring Pokemon from other game. That's coding there. A lot of Pokemon. Again, coding there. Designing each Pokemon to terrorize. Again, that's a lot of work there. So if that's happening to some extent, they're not saying that they shouldn't do it. What the people were saying with common sense, the majority of the Pokemon fan who are normal, basically are just saying is, take more time. You don't need to release that in November. But, of course, Pokemon Company, well, we have this merchandise relationship problem. We have to release it no matter what. So, you got this result, and it's shit. I don't know what to say. It's shit. So, like, for me personally, that if you're considering getting this game, I would highly, believe it or not, as a Pokemon fan, I would highly recommend holding it off. Don't buy it for $60. Wait for a sale if it push comes to shove. If Game Freak haven't even patched this game in 2023 for whatever reason, I would say hold it off. Like, as a Pokemon fan, as a Nintendo fan to some extent, hold it off. Don't buy this game. Oh, I'm going to miss the Flying Pikachu or the Eevee, which is already done by the time of this recording, or the Charizard. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, $60 for this game. Yeah, it's not uber broken, but you can't kind of give them a pass selling a $60 game that is to some extent broken. I'm just saying there. So, yeah, my thoughts about it, like I said, it is unfortunate to some extent. It's kind of gross that this happened. Hopefully they do learn their lesson in the long run. We'll have to wait and see. And then, with that said, there will be a part 2 in this one. And believe it or not, it's going to be a response to Switchforce because someone's video about his thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet invited. Of course, it is putting it right. There are a lot of flaws on his defense. So with that, stay tuned.